Hey guys, what's up? We have some updates coming to the Duel Links game. As of the beginning of January, this will involve cards being moved off the limited list and the balancing of certain skills. To start off, we will look at the cards. The first is Cyber Angel Dakini. It will move to only 2 copies per deck. This is a light fairy ritual level 8 with 2700 attack and 2400 defense. And its effect is you can ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual. If this card is ritual summoned, you can make your opponent send 1 monster they control to their graveyard, their choice. If a ritual monster you control attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Once per turn, during your end phase, you can target 1 ritual monster or 1 Machine Angel Ritual in your graveyard, add it to your hand. This card is able to force your opponent to get rid of one of their monsters. However, the problem with this is that even though it is their decision who to get rid of with this on the field, the likelihood is you will lose 2 monsters if you include this card's attack, even if you only have the 1 monster on your field. You do not have a choice, you will have to get rid of that particular card. The piercing damage effect means you cannot protect your life points despite trying to play defensively, and this lets you recover a ritual monster or a Machine Angel Ritual card, enabling you to resummon them continually without having to add more recovery cards to a very limited deck size of a maximum of 30 cards. This may make no difference, as I don't believe most players will run 3, as that will brick your hand more times than not. The bigger issue is the next card. Machine Angel Ritual is a card that summons the Cyber Angels, which will go from 1 to 2. This is a ritual spell card that says this card can be used to ritual summon any Cyber Angel Ritual monster. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of a ritual monster you ritual summon. If a light monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card instead. This card has an added protection effect. This is a problem because with protection, it will take at least 2 cards to get rid of a Cyber Angel, making it easier for the Cyber Angel player to summon something else, or replace the at-risk ritual monster with another monster to get rid of any threats. For example, getting rid of a Cyber Angel Dakini to bring out another to force its effect to send a monster to the graveyard. However, it does say that due to the nature of the Duel Links semi-limited list, this means you can only use 2 copies between the 2 cards, and not of each, which means you will either have to make a choice between running 2 Machine Angel Rituals, which are integral to the Cyber Angel deck, or to use 1 to make room for you to have at least 1 Dakini. As for the skills changes, 3-star demotion is being changed to help benefit monsters used by the Paradox Brothers, and the Destiny Draw function will have its selection menu order changed to make it easier to use. Restart is being rebalanced for competitive play, so your opponent doesn't need to wait an unreasonable amount of time while you decide whether to use the effect. This is more to do with player etiquette, as it can be very annoying if you make your decision at the last second. Middle-aged mechs is going to be rebalanced to avoid giving large benefits for playing second. Mind Scan is being changed to let early fields be made without giving you excessive benefit of disruption, and the life point cost of a number of GX skills are being rebalanced to make them easier to activate. Those were the reasons provided, but here are the actual changes. With 3-star demotion, the skill will now only be usable once per duel, and only when you have 1000 or less life points remaining. However, if you use the Paradox Brothers with the trick up their sleeves, this skill can be used on members of the Gate Guardian trio regardless of life points. This will encourage players to use the skill as it was initially intended for the 3 cards If you're not familiar with the skill, they are Kazajin, Suijin, and Sanga of the Thunder. With Destiny Draw, when choosing a card to draw from the deck, cards will be sorted as the same order in the deck editor, making it easier to find the card you want. For Restart, there will be a 20-second time limit on deciding whether to use this ability, rather than the standard 2 minutes. It will at least just make things a lot more courteous, and it will just get rid of some of the trolls and the nuisance that some players, if they don't have the hand they want, they tend to act out. Also note, if you use this effect, your hand will be shown to your opponent before it is returned to the deck. Your opponent can check the cards that were returned to the deck in the duel log. This is a good change, as this means your opponent cannot annoy you by acting badly, and also makes the player with this skill think as if key cards you have in your hand are shown. This will give away your deck, so in those cases you might not actually want to use this skill. For middle-aged mechs, Ancient Gear Castle will be activated at the start of your first turn instead of the start of the duel. For Mind Scan, this skill will activate from the third turn, and the required remaining life points will not change. Miracle Fusion time previously required your remaining life points to be 500 or less. Now it will be 1000 or less. This is a decent change, as getting your life points that close to losing is not worth the risk. The higher change means you can rely more on it without fear of losing the duel immediately. This ability was a pain for Jaden, as your heroes are not strong enough to resist that much damage. Lastly, the abilities where the heroes Duel, Destiny Calling, Firm as the Earth, Silent as Water, Quick as the Wind, Mighty as Fire, change from requiring your life points to be 2000 or less to 3000 or less. This lets you search for the required cards easier from the beginning. These abilities search for an elemental hero, a destiny hero, an earth attribute, a water attribute, a wind attribute, and a fire attribute respectively. What do you think about the changes to the cards and the skills? This will obviously make using Alexis as a character more difficult, as the restrictions imposed force you to make decisions you would prefer not to make. This was done as this was the highest ranking deck on the competitive scene. As for the skills, I like the fewer restrictions made on some of the lesser used skills, such as the searching cards, as well as trying to make skills more specific to the characters they were designed for. Which skill did you like the change of, and which did you not want changed? Leave your comments down below, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and as always, thank you for taking the time to watch this.